In the last video, we saw how to do a purchase order for inventory. And let's take a look at the actual inventory module in a little more detail now. So if I click into inventory from the home page here, and here's a list of all the items that I have in my inventory. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I hold this inventory. You know, I could be purchasing most of my stuff just in time, direct to job, but it just means that I have the SKU, I have the item in my inventory as something that I regularly use, and I need to track, see my purchase history, my cost history, etc. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have inventory items. So this is physical stuff that I'm going to buy on a PO and use on jobs. And then we have non-stock items. Now this really covers two things. It covers physical items that you maybe only ever going to use once. So within a quote, a job, a purchase order, if you're looking to add a line item for something that's physical, but it's not something that you already have in your inventory, you can create it on the fly as a non-stock item. And then if it's something that you are going to stock and use again, you can convert it into an inventory item afterwards. Or it could be like a super one-off bespoke piece that you're only going to use once. The other reason you would use non-stock items is for non-physical things. So shipping charges, for example, warranties, service calls, anything that's non-physical, maybe something that is physical, but it's like a label that you print out in-house. So it's something that you don't actually need to see a quantity of. So you can use non-stock items for these. You can also see everything that's on order at a glance in here as well. So this is what I have on order on POs right now. And then you have groups and kits. So if you watch the video that we did on quotes, then that explains what these are. But very briefly again, groups are just bundles of items, and you can put labor into groups as well, so that you can add these to quotes and jobs and POs, add a whole bunch of parts really quickly. And then kits is a more sophisticated version of a group. So for example, if I go into this one that I built for roofing here. So this is like a new roof with charcoal asphalt shingles. So what this is saying that for every square foot of roof that I need to lay with these shingles, what else do I need, and how much of what else do I need? So this is what I've worked out as being the labor and the material that goes along with that. So for every square foot of roof, this is how many shingles I need, this is how many nails I need, and this is how much leak-proof barrier that I need. So you build out your kit based on the quantity of what you need to install. And it makes quoting really super easy and super accurate. So if I go back into my inventory, and when I buy items on a PO or use them on jobs, then my quantity in stock is going to update in real time. So the quantity in stock is going to increase when I receive something on a PO and then close the PO, and my quantity is going to decrease when I commit these items on jobs. So a few other things you can do is you can create categories. So you can see a few categories that I've made here, and the inventory categories that you make, not only can you kind of filter by them, and see at a glance what you've got in each category, but you can also display these categories as subtotals on invoices as well. So for example, if you had a category called subcontractors and you wanted to break that down into a subtotal on a sales invoice, you could have a subtotal of total subcontractors at the bottom of your invoice. So just another option that you do have there. So as you can see, you get some kind of basic detail about the status of each item here. If we click on it and go into it, and you can see the quantity in stock, the unit cost of what you have, and one thing you can make as well is different locations. So we can do multiple inventory locations, we can do multiple warehouses, transfer items between locations as well. You get quite a lot of information about each item within the details here. If I go into cost history, and I can see the history of every time I bought the item on a PO, or I can add a manual cost history as well. I can see my purchase history, so that's the only previous PO that I have bought this item on. And I can see which groups it currently sits within. This one isn't within any groups right now. I can add units of measure. So the standard unit of measure for this item is pieces, and it's a quantity per of 1. Let's say I want to add a carton, and the quantity per carton is 100. So I can save that. So now I don't just need to add, if I'm ordering 100, I can just add a box of 100. I don't need to put my quantity as 100 when I put this onto a PO. So I can add any unit of measure that I want. And if you are a customer that has multiple warehouses, multiple locations, under the Responsibility Centers tab is where you can see the quantity in stock, not only at each warehouse, but at each warehouse location as well. So that's how to navigate the inventory module inside of Service 365.